Welcome back to Sonic Colors. It's time for Starlight Carnival. A whole whopping 30 plus seconds of doing nothing but goddamn if it's not the most visually impressive thing the Wii ever put out.
I know. And that's exactly why I think it's like this is the way it is. This is just Sega flexing.
Whenever someone made something vaguely impressive for the Wii, everyone was like, wow, this looks really good for the Wii. And I'm just like, yeah, and I can't appreciate it because I own the other consoles too, and that just sort of underlines how.
I mean, this is a pretty section. Like, I think if you would just
this section here is why everyone wanted an HD version of
That's
this game.
what I'm saying. Yeah. I own the other consoles, and they both look a lot better on the same television I'm playing this on.
And yeah, but like I mean, even without the clarity, like it is a visually stunning piece. With all the colors in the background, the sparkly reflecty ground, the fireworks, all the things. Like there's a lion ship in the background. I didn't even notice that before.
Though, because I'm playing this on the same television that I play my PS3 and Xbox stuff on, all I ever see when I'm playing a Wii game is, dear God, the resolution is so much muddier than what I'm used to. I really wish it were a little clearer. I should probably get a better computer so I can see what this looks like on Dolphin. But like,
I'm still to this day shocked that this game never got re-released.
By the time this video goes up, it'll be announced.
Oh yes.
Well,
maybe this was the necessary catalyst.
Now that we've mentioned it, it won't happen.
Okay, yeah, that's true too. I'm just saying, it's like I just feel very odd that Sonic Lost World got a PC release before Colors.
I will say that although it has like a nice number of stunning visual set pieces like this levels, a lot of the levels in the game are visually very basic because they're constructed of simple reusable parts and pieces. And I feel like if we did get an HD remaster, while bits like this would look really nice in it, I feel like the HD upgrade would just put a magnifying glass over how low budget the rest of the game is.
Aesthetically, I'll disagree, but I understand where you're getting from, considering that I think a big part of that sort of homogeny is the fact that every single world of this game shares the same kind of platforms, like the same blocks, the same horizontal.
That's kind of.
I mean, I would also say that that's not even that unique for a problem for Sonic games, because like if you go back as far back as like the very first Sonic game and the other ones on the Genesis, like there were quite a few stages where yes, you could do impressive blast processing, long stretches where you're just running through straight and there's a couple of loop-de-loops and you're just like, oh man, look how cool this is. You know, there's plenty of stages like that, but I'd say that most of the game is not like that. Those are just the stages people tend to remember the most.
The thing about that, though,
and chemical plants.
The thing about that, though, is, you know, those games are already in a low-res style, so you can, like, in that kind of, I don't want to say primitive, because it wasn't primitive at the time. In that kind of simple graphical style, it is easier to reuse assets that are designed to be reused and get away with it and have it look natural.
Yeah, it was a necessity at the time.
I mean, someone just pointed out a few weeks ago that Motobug and Buzz Bomber have the same face.
Yeah, like the simpler,
and it's like I only just now noticed.
The simpler the art style, the easier it is for that stuff to look organic when it happens. The more detailed and complex the art style, the more people look at these things and say, wow, those two rooms are really similar. I've been through this cave system before. BioWare, why did you design Dragon Age 2 this way? Come on. But, like, you know.
And then you just see Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble walking around the other side, and it's just a repeating background over and over.
So, like, I feel like Sonic Colors is on the wrong side of the graphical spectrum to pull that off.
I think it holds up well.
Yeah,
I think every single level has so many background details. Like, if you go through Tropical Resort, you're going to notice all these different roller coasters and Eggman signs that maybe you didn't notice on your first playthrough. Yeah, and it's going to age a hell of a lot better than Sonic Lost World did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, especially, like, we were in Sweet Mountain last part, and Like, I forgot how intricate a lot of the background details in that game. Like,
That-
I mean,
that's
granted,
why
I
everyone
agree
wants
with
an
you
HD version of this game.
yeah, I agree with you on the foreground details. Like, right now, we are not looking at anything impressive. I agree with you there. But I do think that there is still a lot of stuff to appreciate in this game visually, just as long as you're, again, like, okay with the resolution being 480, which I feel like if you're playing a game on the Wii, that's just kind of part of the MO, you know?
Yeah, that's part of the package. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose.
Well, I guess at the very least you play it on the Wii U and
It does
pretend
Wii U-
it's 720.
Yeah, well, Wii U games do look better in Wii games do look a good deal better on the Wii U than they do on the Wii. Just because the fuzziness isn't quite as big of a problem. Like Mario Galaxy on the Wii U is actually a very, very good-looking game.
Yeah,
granted,
they
we
did-
have the Switch version now, which is even better than that. But
They have the Wii U did have somewhat better upscaling, but at the same time, actually,
It's still assets meant to be viewed at 480p.
Yeah, because the one thing that you will immediately notice playing on a HD TV on the Wii U is all the aliasing. Like there are jaggies everywhere.
yeah.
Which if you want a good example of that, watch a Super Mario Galaxy playthrough from the All Stars collection compared to an upscaled Galaxy playthrough from the Wii, and you'll see exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
like, look at that guy with the bow back there. That's really cool looking. I never noticed that before.
What's he aiming at?
The right.
He's trying to warn us.
When you said bow, I thought you meant like a bow you would wear in your hair. But then I saw, oh wait, no, this is like stupid casino statue.
Lewis, we're in the middle of war. You are our only archer. I tell you to grab a bow, and you grab a fucking cosmetic item.
No,
We're doomed.
well, you just said that.
Does it add anything to
You
defense?
just said-
Legolas,
you
you
just
have
said-
my bow, Gimli, and my brush.
Okay, you just said the guy. You just said the guy with the bow in the
And
background,
high tweezers.
and we're in this sparkly carnival-looking setting. So my brain went to the glittery, sparkly cosmetic arena rather than the frickin' Caesar's Casino-looking statue in the background. And then that is entirely my fault. I suppose I probably should have thought of a casino first in a theme park setting, but you know.
I mean, like, what are the attractions that are supposed to be at this theme park? Like, giant bouncy spring that will kill you?
Well, you hear them on the PA announcements. Wait.
Why did it take you so long to die?
I was technically on a platform lower down.
Oh.
Contra Syndrome.
No, it was the opposite of Contra Syndrome. The scroller kept going, but I was on a platform I couldn't possibly recover from.
Oh, okay.
But it's good Johnny mentioned the PA announcements, because not only are they like really, really some of the best writing in the whole entire game.
You can't even hear them most of the time.
Yeah, you can't hear them, but God, if you ever like go on YouTube, look them up because they're so freaking hilarious. Like Eggman constantly talks about some of the attractions that are at Starlight Carnival. Like there's supposed to be like this anti-gravity machine that people go in where they feel weightless and float around for a bit.
I think one of my favorites is probably like I don't remember exactly because I haven't heard it in a long time, but it's like a Lightspeed show where as he's announcing it, it happens, and then
It's
he says,
gone.
"Oh, I guess you just missed it."
So, like, this level's really cool until you realize that as long as you're not actually going for any of the rings or lives or items, you don't have to do anything.
Well, that's typical Sonic, though, right? If
No.
you just stick to the okay, I'm gonna.
In typical Sonic, like, even if you're just blitzing through a level at minimum effort, a lot of the time you do have to platform to get from A to B. Like, maybe...
Yeah, but, like, I mean, the game, like, I guess the general spirit of it is that the game gets a lot easier if you don't give a
But
shit
here's the
about
thing. No, but here's the thing. You could sit there just bouncing on the yellow platform, not touching the controller at all until the end of the stage, where the only input you need to make is holding down the jump button so that you bounce high enough to get into the goal ring.
There was some stuff that you did have to
You have
dodge.
to move with the yellow spring though. You can't just not.
Oh, right. Is
left,
that right? Yeah. Okay, so you have to nudge the left button every now and then. Okay, that's a massive improvement. The only thing that
but it's better than
what. Are you going to complain about Sonic games being hold the right to win? Because that's franchise since 1992.
That's also patently false. Because if you hold right to win in 1992, you're running face first into the first moto bug and dying. But the only thing in classic Sonic that reaches the level of uninteractivity that level did was, if you know enough to know that in the first special stage of Sonic 1, you can just let go of the controller and you'll fall into the Chaos Emerald by accident.
No, there are plenty of parts in, like, look, I know that people respect the classic games and whatnot. It's all about exploration and physics. There are so many spots in those games where you are intended to just hold right and watch Sonic go, ooh, flippy, loop-de-loop.
But
that's why they made the game in the first place to look cool.
There are
plenty of points in those games.
There are plenty of points.
I'd argue it's only at its most apparent in the first levels, which is the first levels.
Sonic 2 onwards do have a lot of level segments that are kind of like breather moments where you're given a nice exhilarating burst of speed through some loop-de-loops, and then usually at the end it'll launch you off a ramp, and that's your cue to say, okay, I need to pick up the controller again. I should stop just rolling mindlessly because now I need to actually look at the level design, and if I don't, I'm probably going to fall off a cliff or hit some spikes or some shit like that. And it may not necessarily be the most technically intensive platforming experience you'll ever have in your life, but if you don't you might look at a pro level strats version of Aquatic Ruins, for example, and it might look like hold right to win until you actually play it and realize that if you just try to hold right to win without thinking, you're not going to be able to stay above the water, and you're going to get stuck in a lot of underwater platforming segments, and it's going to suck badly. So,
I'd say at least almost every stage in a Sonic game has a 20-second segment where you are just intended to hold.
Well, not 20 seconds.
Right.
20 seconds is like the length of time it takes you to get through Chemical Plant if you're going the fastest route. But there's generally 5 to 10 second segment.
No, there's some Sonic.
Hydro City pushes it, yes, because for some reason they just gave up trying to make a good water level.
Death Egg too. There's some spots in what's the Flying Battery where you're just watching Sonic go voop to voop around the gritty.
That's Death Egg.
Death Egg, yeah. Death Egg has those.
That's what I know. In Flying Battery, there's some stuff like that.
Not nearly for that long.
Not really.
Not nearly for that long.
No.
And Flying Battery balances it out by.
You had something at Flying. Had something at Death Egg. Stick to Death Egg.
Yeah,
Death Egg is also.
Death Egg is also a little bit dull.
It's one of the few really big 3D sections in the entire game.
Yeah, I think this is like the only time I do this.
Yeah, and then you can skip the whole thing.
Then you can just ignore it.
Death Egg does like to waste your time on those flashy light tunnel things, doesn't it? But the only other S3 and K thing that I can think of that has long segments of loop-de-loop shit is Hydro City. And Hydro City kind of did that because,
Ice Cap, the very beginning of Ice Cap, where you're on the snowboard and not really doing anything.
Which only
depending
happens
on how
if you're
long
Sonic,
you realize
oddly.
that you're supposed to be falling down. You can fall down that one pit in there for forever.
Well, that's a classic looping stage puzzle where the objective is to figure out where you're supposed to jump off. So that's less of you're staring at the screen watching Sonic go, and more like, oh wait, I need to do something or I'm going to be stuck here forever like an endless staircase nightmare.
Casino Night, this isn't so much like just holding right to win, but in Casino Night you can be bouncing around with very little input mattering for forever, depending on how you get stuck in there.
If you're stuck in there, it matters how you input the inputs. If you're stuck in there, that is a problem. There is a time limit,
I mean, you get points and it lights up and you get rings and shit, so it's
Who cares about that? It's
a video game. You want to collect stuff.
No one cares about points in video games.
You can't just disregard it because you're not a
No
fan
one
of it.
cares about points in video games.
Says
Says everyone. Everyone brings that up as a criticism whenever a game on a console tries to have a points focus. It's like, who cares about points in a console game? No one cares about points in a console game. It's a weird arcade holdover.
Points and time do matter.
I mean,
though, because
I unironically do go for points, but that's only because I'm a kleptomaniac loony person.
So you do care.
I care, but I am the
That
outlier.
doesn't mean that nobody cares if you care.
I am the proud exception to
Are you
the
calling
rule.
yourself a nobody?
I am the hipster. I am the.
What's your nobody name, Lewis?
I am the points hipster, and for me, it's only because I know that 50,000 points gets you a 1-up in Sonic, so I really only pay attention to it in like special stages where I do actually actively try to go for 1-ups, but like,
I guess the point that I'm trying to make is that it is not out of left field for there to be these long, uninteractive segments, and I'd say they're part of Sonic's identity. They're not necessarily.
They are, but
the set pieces.
But when Sonic moved into 3D, those non-interactive set pieces got more time-consuming over time, more as a consequence of everything in gaming in general getting more time-consuming in 3D. It takes you maybe half a second to zip through a loop in a classic Sonic game, because the loop is there, you run in a circle, and you're past it. In, say, Sonic Adventure 2, there's a loop that takes you 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're running down a building 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 before you hit the ground and start running on a horizontal plane.
Yeah, and why is that bad if it looks
It's
cool
not
and
bad,
fun?
but what I'm saying is that when you add that stuff up together, it tends to take longer than the stuff in the previous game, simply because it's larger. You know, so...
Oh, Tails is showing his dominance here with his T-posing.
Hey, good for Tails.
Here's what would have been really interesting to have, like a Tails boss fight of all things, and then they just kind of don't.
It's not a T-pose if your hands are all splayed out like that, though. A proper T...
He's jazz handsing.
Yeah, a proper T-pose is with your hands held out, like, horizontally, palms down. That's a T-pose. Oh, and your legs.
So even Tails is faster than Sonic.
Oh, and your legs
Tails
need
is
to
just
be.
better.
Your legs need to be straight down too. So his legs are too spread out for a T pose. It's more of a weird semi-X pose, really. Also, his tails are actually moving. T poses are supposed to be completely motionless. In fact, where would
I just like the games pose like Sonic Color, like post Sonic Colors, like the games have some weird fascination of doing really stupid shit with Tails.
They
because
don't know what to do with them.
They don't know what to do with the character because you have this very pointless brainwashing.
Yeah. They had him go
which-
through his I can't rely on Sonic Forever arc twice in Adventure 1 and 2, and they're like, okay, we can't do that anymore, so what do we do with him?
Well, I would say that
Absolutely
this isn't
nothing.
pointless. This does set the scene for his big plan, which is brainwash the whole world. So it serves a story point there,
Which
but it
sets
doesn't
up-
do
which sets
anything
up-
for Tails as a character.
It sets up. I'd argue it sets up stakes, but there's no payoff.
Okay,
No.
I'm gonna disagree slightly on him going through the same arc twice in the Sonic Adventure games, because it felt like what they were going for in Sonic Adventure 2 was that Tails building this mech suit and blasting through enemies and stuff in his own style rather than doing the thing where he mimics Sonic all the time. Felt like they were trying to make that an extension of his
Well,
Sonic
Tails
Adventure
didn't really
1
have
arc.
any character development in Sonic Adventure 2 anyway. It
Well,
was
yeah,
more,
he wasn't
it
Because he
really
wasn't
more
supposed to
he wasn't
have
really
it.
payoff for his development in Adventure 1.
yeah he wasn't really
Because again, originally Tails.
yeah, he wasn't supposed to be in there. So it like, but at least in his appearance there, they portrayed him as doing a thing that made sense in the context of where he ended Adventure 1 at. Whereas, like with Amy, it's kind of like she just forgot her entire story in Adventure 1 happened, and she's like fawning over Sonic again for some reason. What happened to the whole independence thing, Amy? Come on.
They're always leaving me behind and having all the fun.
So, like,
So fucking do something about it.
yeah. Set next to that,
He needs to
Tails.
learn to read the room. Is like he's not that into you.
Set next to that, Tails doesn't really, like, register on the I forgot I had a character arc in the previous game scale. But, you know, the writing was just kind of bad, and Tails was there when he wasn't originally meant to be there, and Amy was there to fulfill a stereotypical anime trope where there's supposed to be this highly emotional, idealistic character to give the bad guy a speech at the end so that he has a change of heart because of reasons.
Wait, are we talking about this game or Sonic Adventure 2?
Sonic Adventure 2. Amy isn't in this game.
Okay.
She
Well, she is in the DS version.
Everybody's in the DS version.
Yeah, including Blaze and Silver for some reason.
I forgot the DS version existed, and I wish I could go back to that now.
It's just Sonic Rush 3.
It's the best Rush game, in my opinion.
Yeah, but
Really? You like it? I've never played Colors DS, but I like...
Yeah, I legitimately think it's the best
Why
Rush
would
game.
you say it's better than
game.
the first one?
Because it has a homing attack worth a damn, for one thing.
Well, you don't need a homing attack. That's not why I like that game.
having the extra
Well, no,
option
the-
is
the-
nice, though.
Yeah, having the extra option is nice. The color powers, I feel, work really well in the game's level design, except for the 1 or 2 times where there's levels built around the specific color power, and those can suck. But it's basically... I guess the best thing that I like about it is that I think Sonic controls the best in that game.
I mean, I don't have any problems
Because
with
he's
that.
Rush, but he has all the unleashed and color moves. Like he has Stomp, he has the wall
Well,
jump.
you see, that I think maybe I'm just being not hypocritical, but maybe I'm just being combative here because that's what we do. But I don't feel like Rush needs all those extra doohickeys. Like, Rush is a very simple game, and that's its strength. It's like, I mean, I guess it doesn't necessarily make it worse. Like, New Super Mario Brothers isn't worse because you have all of these extra moves, but
It also has level design that doesn't make me like scream.
why did
Like-
Sonic's Rush's level design isn't that bad?
Towards the end of it, I would say it gets pretty dimps.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dimps. I thought you said dents for a second.
No.
Like launching you off a ramp into a bottomless pit if you don't know how to do a trick. If you don't know to do a trick at a certain point.
Well, that's not very that's Sonic Advance 2.
Yeah, I know.
Advance 2.
But
I never beat the game as a kid because of that, because I didn't know that those were in the game.
the issue with Dimps level design, at least in that particular era, is that they have a tendency to start sucker punching you late into the game. In Advance 2, it was that fucking bottomless pit that you had to know to do an air trick over, even though the game never naturally taught you to do that. In Sonic Advance 1, it was the spikes in Egg Rocket Zone. Goddamn Egg Rocket Zone, why?
Or just Egg Rocket Zone in general.
Yeah, well, mostly the spikes, because, okay, what they would do is they would rush you full speed into the side of a set of spikes, and it's like, okay, these spikes are here to stop me, and then before you have a chance to register that complete thought, more spikes spring up from the ground, exactly where you're standing, to damage you.
I mean, it's an effective trap from Eggman.
Sonic Advance to be I still think one of the best like post classic era Sonic games, but it also angers me because the quality of the game just drives me
It's like okay, everything that you found annoying about Metropolis Zone slicers, except more numerous and worse. So, yeah. Okay. I like Orbot and Cubot, but they probably should not have survived past this game.
Well, this is the first game to give Orbot his name.
Yeah, he was
'Cause,
in Unleash. This is the first time Cubot showed up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's probably best that Eggman has 2 incompetent flunkies to bounce
Yeah,
off
I
of
like-
the cutscenes.
I like Orbot and Cubot.
Yeah, it just feels like they didn't make a whole lot of sense in Forces, and they didn't do much in Generations.
Well, Generations Eggman isn't really even there.
Did they
so-
even feature in Generations?
Nope,
They
weren't
they
in
are
there at
shown
all.
to be abandoned by Eggman when he finds the Time Eater.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Just left them out in the cold reaches of space.
Yeah,
Somehow they made their way back.
it's
Yeah.
just kind of
And they're still following Eggman after that.
It's just
Robots
kinda-
are
left you to die.
programmed to.
it's kind of But here they're great. Oh, they're also good in the Sonic Boom cartoon.
Oh yeah.
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 That as
but,
well, yeah.
we'll
It's
get-
just it's a good carryover from the cartoons because like the cartoons had Scratch and Grounder, they had Dingo, the bounty hunter guy, they had Deco and Boko. You know, it's good for Eggman to have some lackeys, a Snively to interact with, so that he's just not talking by himself all the time. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
yeah,
fair.
I'd agree there. But we'll get back to Sonic Colors in the next part. We'll be hit another fan favorite, at least visually, level.